In the previous module, we introduced this severity matrix as a way of explaining the relative abilities of each of the three series of seals offered. Now, bear in mind that all of these environments are comparatively harsh, ranging from moderately to severely harsh, many times conditions that put the entire system at the extreme edge of its operating limits. And in those situations, the exclusion seal can make the difference between whether the system is even viable or not. An example of this might be, say, a cylinder on the door of a blast or an arc furnace operating in an atmosphere heavily saturated with abrasive and caustic particulate matter, where the seal is acting not only as a means of preventing ingression, but is also acting as a heat shield or heat sink. These are metal seals that oftentimes firstly need to meet specific price requirements. We can engineer an exclusion seal to perform at very high levels, but of course at a cost. And many times for OEMs, meeting a component price point determines the viability of adding an exclusion seal. If we take a hydraulic or pneumatic cylinder, for example, operating in a particular environment, we can describe the way in which it's operating across a number of different dimensions. For example, the extent to which the application requires the cylinder to cycle on a very frequent or dynamic base, or a less frequent or relatively static basis. Also, the speed of the cycle, whether or not this is a high power application like hydraulics or a low power like electromotive or pneumatic. And we can also characterize the contaminants and the extent to which they might exhibit various destructive properties. In a system that operates in a relatively static mode with long intervals of time between cycles, contaminants may develop stronger adhesive bonds. Therefore, greater force must be deployed by the scraper to perform the cleaning action. Conversely, highly dynamic modes of operation present other challenges. Smaller, more fluid and invasive contaminant particles may be encountered, which may accumulate rapidly. In a dynamic environment, the performance of the system may be affected more by the typological interactions of the scraper and the rod, and the factors of friction, heat, and wear. With this mode of operation in mind, we can refine our earlier assessment of the suitability of the respective scraper in the following way. In general terms, the M-Series is very well suited to relatively static applications, where there is the need to be able to clean away contaminants that have sat for a period of time and may have developed a medium to strong bond. Under these conditions, the M-Series is also effective at handling relatively large quantities of contaminants. The design of the A-Series is optimized for more dynamic environments, with the emphasis on preventing the development of strong adhesive bonds and preventing a wide range of different sizes of particles from establishing pathways that can lead to larger scale ingression. And the D-Series is capable of handling a range of operating modes, high cycle rates, strong adhesive bonds, and can be tuned to meet various tribological conditions. They say the best kind of toothbrush to use is the one that you will use, and so to an extent it is with rod scrapers. The most effective exclusion seal is the one that is installed and in use, particularly in a preventative mode. In other words, if the availability of a profile makes it practical to use a scraper, then that is the main advantage. The M-Series makes it feasible for cylinder builders to easily add a scraper into their design and assembly process. The relative affordability and economy, in terms of size and so on, of an A-Series scraper means that this has won favor with equipment designers, builders, installers, operators, and repairers over many decades. The ability to include a scraper while not significantly impacting the overall cost of the cylinder or repair means that more of these are in use protecting equipment than any other type of metal exclusion seal. And the availability of the D-Series as a heavy-duty scraper that is capable of handling heavy, intermittent, and continuous workloads, deploying sufficient force to break strong adhesive bonds, allows equipment to operate in conditions that would otherwise be considered impractical. In the next module, we will step through each series and look at the different configurations that we offer for example applications.